Live. All right. And yeah, good stuff. All right, Shalom Israel. You're on live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Priest Captain Soccer War live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes from 6 to 8 p.m. Standard Time. Oh, all right, now we should be good. All right. We had these classes from 6 to 8 Central Standard Time. Since 1969, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And what we like to take opportunity to do with these classes is to give brothers and sisters an opportunity to go into this book called the Bible, to gain some insight into the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High gave to our forefathers to establish us as a nation that could represent the Most High on this earth in righteousness, in order, in dignity. And in 2021, we have fallen far from the Most High's intent for us as a nation. And there's nothing that's more important for our people in these times that we're living in than for us to reconnect with who the Most High called us to be. All right, so with these classes, we go into the Bible and read the scriptures, not to just, we don't look at view the Bible as a book of feel-good stories. We view the Bible as a historical and cultural record of our people. And the only way that we're going to be able to reclaim our former greatness is to go back to what it is that made us great, which is the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So that's what the focus is of these classes. Like to start the class off, like we do every week. Any questions that brothers and sisters have them, all you gotta do is raise your hand if you're in the class. If you're online, all you gotta do is type in your questions. With that said, anybody got any questions? Come on with it. Sister Pot is up. You got it.
Okay. The question is, whichever they consider that it's not needed, like, if it makes it like, so if you question, like, can you do something that you not allow you to?
When you say questioning, what is and what? Give me an example of questioning. Yeah.
Um, like if you say you need to do something, not just like do any other thing, but like say, um, question like that is that you asking him, um, like,
Okay, give me what you believe is perfect the perfect idea of a woman obeying her husband. Scripture says, "Wives, submit yourself to your husband." Right? What does that look like in its perfect form? Just give me an example of what perfect in your mind. What a woman who's perfectly submitting to her husband. Give me an example of him asking, and her doing.
like, my husband is my feedback, like,
Mm-hmm.
he gives feedback. And it's not like, when I say, like, okay, so, like, okay, so my husband, if he asks me to, I'm gonna get a fork with our dog.
Mm-hmm.
If he asks me to feed him, like, we should, before my husband got there, I could reach look, like, and I tell him down for me before I feed him, and I was gone, and I saw myself. He considered it like, don't tell me, I want to do it, just go see them.
Mm-hmm.
I have my but I want to, right? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only example that I can think of right now.
Okay, so your question is it wrong to give your husband feedback?
No, I really want to know, like, it really wasn't my question. Not really, but I just want to know, is that not, I guess you could take this situation, is that not allowing to
Okay. Okay, so this question is it not allowing your husband to lead if he tells you to do something, but before you go to do it, you ask him a question about it or offer some information that he maybe doesn't know that would help in you being able to fulfill the request that he's made, right? Okay. A relationship, well, a man and a woman is like a partnership. You understand? So being partners. Okay, don't think of a, okay, think of a boss worker relationship, right? You work for you work for your husband. So he tell you, hey, baby, I need you to do this. Your responsibility is to get done what he's requested, right? But let's say there's something that he may not know about this request that he's made that you want to make him aware of. You should make him aware of it. So, for instance, hey, baby, feed the dog. You know the dog. I just fed the dog not too long ago. The dog threw up. Okay, baby, but your response, his request is feed the dog. Your response is, okay, but I just want you to know I fed the dog not too long ago and he threw up. That's not back talking. That's not allowing your husband to lead. That is you providing him with information that he may not know. You understand? Nothing wrong with that. Let's say your husband says, "Hey, baby, I need you to, pull $500 out the bank for me," right? And you say, "Okay, baby, but the electric bill is coming out next week, and that's $300." There's nothing wrong with you providing that information to him to make him aware. Now he might say, "Listen, man, don't tell me about no goddamn electric bill. I know what's coming out next week. Just pull out the money. Don't sweat, no problem. Do what he told you to do." You understand? That's how it should work. That's ideally how it would work. What the reason why it doesn't work that way a lot of times is because of mistrust. It's because of you know a fear of being taken advantage of that a lot of sisters have, or fear of business not being taken care of. A lot of times, what can heal that in a relationship is just a brother being responsible, brother taking care of business, wife not having to worry or having to think twice or having to ask questions like, ask questions about different decisions that he's making. You understand? So, in a relate in today's time, it takes time to build that kind of trust, to build that kind of a relationship where I don't want to call it blind submission because it's not blind, but you just do what you're told to do because if he's telling me to do it, it's the right thing to do. That's how a relationship. When the Bible talks about a husband and a wife working together, that's the type of relationship the Bible is describing. When the Bible says, "Wives, submit yourself to your husband as unto the Lord," it's describing a righteous woman submitting to a righteous man who's going to lead her the way that the Lord would lead her. So when this man says, "Do this, do that," get this done, get that done, she's saying, "Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir," and doing it because it's a perfect relationship. Nothing he's asking her is anything that she should think twice about. Now, in 2021, that's not really how most relationships are because of issues that we've had in the past or baggage or trauma that we're dealing with or, you know, dysfunctionality within our relationship. And so a lot of times it can be hard to just do what your husband tells you to do all the time because you wondering, well, why is he telling me to do that? What is his motive in? Well, I saw on Sister Wives the other day, or I saw on this show where the nigga said this and she said that, and I got to protect my peace and all that nonsense is in your head. You understand? So that's what gets in the way a lot of times of relationships function in the way that the Bible describes them function. You understand? But that's always been since the Garden of Eden. Someone else in a woman's ear, making her think twice about doing what her husband told her. If you can eliminate all of the outside voices, it'll be easy to do what your husband said to do because it's just you and him. And at the end of the day, he gonna hold it down regardless. The only thing that gets in the way of what gets in the way of that is other voices in a woman's head dissuading her from serving her. All right, but as you grow in your relationship and you and your husband fine tune your partnership and your teamwork begins to make the dream work, then you will be able to. Hey, baby, I fed the dog and he threw up early. Oh, well, hold on and don't feed him yet. And that won't be feedback or back talk. It'll be, save save yourself from having to clean up the dog throw up later because I wasn't gonna clean it. So you just saved yourself. Good job, baby. You saved yourself a cleaning job later on. Everybody understand. So that's that. To answer your question. All right. Any other questions in the class? All right, no sweat. Parasha Yasha had a question. Could he get a breakdown on 1 Corinthians 15 and 53? So let's get 1 Corinthians 15 and 53. 1 Corinthians 3. All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 53. All right. It says, for this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. All right, Parasha, if I could, I need you to give me some more on the question that you're asking, all right? When you say you want to break down, do you want to know what verse 53 means, what it's saying, or do you want me to break down the whole from verse 50 on down to really 56? Because I can't really. All right, so I'll just, for time's sake, I'll give you verse 53. All right. It says, for this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. It's talking about us. We are the corruptible thing. We are the mortal thing. Meaning, in this flesh, in these bodies, this flesh is corruptible. Meaning, what is corruption in this context? Anybody? It says, 1 Corinthians 15 to 53, for this corruptible must put on incorruption. What is incorruption in this context? Yes, incorruption is sin or imperfection. Everybody understands? All right, so I mean, incorruption is perfection. That's what incorruption is. What makes somebody perfect is not sin. Everybody understands? So the corruptible is sin. It is giving in to temptation, falling weak to your flesh. Everybody understands? When this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, when this corruptible body shall have put on it incorruption, when I shall take this body and make it perfect, take this body and make it sinless, that's what it's talking about. And this mortal shall have put on immortality. I'm mortal, meaning what? There's a time, there's a ticking clock when it comes to the use I can get out of this body. Why? What causes the time to tick away on this body? Meaning, what causes death? Sin. Wages of sin is death. Everybody understands. Also, when I'm asking these questions, all the answers are in the scripture. Everybody understands. So, what causes death is sin. Sin is what makes this body grow old. Sin is what makes this body start to break down. Sin is what destroys the body. Everybody understands. So, how can I put on immortality? How can I live forever? Not sin. Everybody understands. That's what this is saying in verse 53. Those of us who are in these corruptible bodies, we have to put on incorruption. Those of us who are in this mortal flesh, we must put on immortality. Everybody understands? Verse 54, so when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Death will be swallowed up in victory when we are no longer dying. What's going to cause us? How are we going to no longer die? Because we'll no longer sin. Everybody understand? So this is talking about a time when we go into the kingdom. Time when we are worthy of no longer dying, but worthy of eternal life. Everybody understand? What makes us worthy of eternal life? Putting on incorruption, putting on immortality. Everybody understand? Verse 55, O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. But thanks be to the Most High, which giveth us the victory through our Adawan Yahushua Mashiach. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Everybody understand? All right, so let me know if you understand if that answered the question you had, Parashia. All right. Yeah, just let me know. Let me know if that answered the question. All right. We good on that. We have any more questions online? Let me know. And if not, let's get to what I had next. Now, I got into a conversation with this Christian at my slavery the other day, and the Christian was trying to tell me that it's evil or wrong to think that God only loves one people. And this Christian was telling me that we have to love white people and we got to love everybody, and Jesus came and died for everybody. And I just simply asked the Christian, just show me where that is in the Bible, right? And the Christian, of course, was confounded and couldn't show me anything. And he said, I'm going to go home and I'm going to show you some scriptures. And he came back to the slavery the next day, or a couple of days later, came to the slavery and slipped me a piece of paper in the lunchroom and said, I don't want to have a debate. I want to give you this. And he gave me a piece of paper with a bunch of scriptures on it, right? And I took a quick glance at the piece of paper, and of course, it had John 3:16, had Romans the 9th chapter. And I said to myself, I'm going to take the time to go through this piece of paper and break down every one of these scriptures. But here's what I don't want, or here's what I didn't want to waste time doing, right? I did not feel that it was necessary to not necessary. Sometimes, brothers and sisters, it's the battle that you can find yourself in with a Christian is not a battle of you having to prove to them the truth. It's them having to prove the lie to you. You understand? Sometimes we can get so caught up in wanting to prove ourselves and show people this and that we'll waste time arguing and debating over scriptures when really they should be the ones that have to plead their cause. They should be the ones that have to prove what it is that they're saying. And not every person who wants to battle you or wants to argue about the Bible is somebody that's worth arguing with. You understand? So I'm gonna just go into some of those scriptures tonight uh, that Christians misunderstand. And a lot of times when it comes to debating or going back and forth with them over the Bible, you don't have to waste time trying to break it down to them. You just make them have to prove to you what it's saying. Everybody understands. We're going to go through some of those scriptures tonight. Karashi had another question, said Isaiah 45:14, is this future prophecy or did the Lord promise Cyprus these nations? All right. So let's get that right quick. Isaiah chapter 45:14. Hold on. Yeah, 45:14. All right, Isaiah 45 and 14. It says, Thus saith the Lord, the labor of Egypt and merchandise of Ethiopia, and of the Sabians, men of stature, shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee in chains, they shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, Surely God is in thee, and there is none else. There is no God. Verily, thou art a God that hidest thyself, O God of Israel, the Savior. They shall be ashamed. Oh, Isaiah 45, 14. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me keep reading. Now, your question is in verse 14. Um, hold on. So let's start at verse 1 real quick, just so we can get some time. All right. All right. Thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden, to subdue nations before him. And I will loose the loins of kings, to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut. I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass and cut in sunder the bars of iron. And I will give thee the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I, the Lord, which called thee by thy name, am the God of Israel. For Jacob my servant's sake and mine, and Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Drop down, ye heavens from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation, and let righteousness spring up together. I, the Lord, have created it. Woe unto him that striveth with his maker. Let the potsherd strive with the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, What makest thou, or thy work? He hath no hand. Woe unto him that saith unto his father, What begettest thou? Or to the woman, What hast thou brought forth? Thus saith the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, and his Maker, Ask me of things to come concerning my sons, and concerning the work of my hands commanded ye me. I have made the earth and created man upon it. I, even my hands, have stretched out the heavens, and all their hosts have I commanded. I have raised him up in righteousness, and I will direct all his ways. He shall build my city, and he shall let go my captives, not for price nor reward, saith the Lord of hosts. Thus saith the Lord, the labor of Egypt and merchandise of Ethiopia, and of the Sabians, men of stature, shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee in chains, they shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, Surely God is in thee, and there is none else, and there is no God. Okay, so the brother's question is this a future prophecy, or did the Lord promise Cyrus these nations? Now, everybody, we all just heard what I read, right? Okay, to answer the question, this was a prophecy that has already been fulfilled, right? Now, historically, what we have to understand is Cyrus was the king of the Persians. Who this is a prophecy to the king who came after the Babylonians. Everybody understand? God, the reason why Isaiah 45 reads this way is because this is Isaiah speaking to a heathen about our God. So that's why there is an explanation of who God is in all of this. Everybody understand? This is one of the few chapters in the Bible where the nature of God is explained, because to Israelites, we didn't need nobody to explain the nature of God to us. We understood. We know that the Most High is the creator of everything. We know he's the one who formed light and created. He made the light and made the darkness. He made the peace and made the, I mean, he makes peace and makes the evil. You understand? This is being explained in this way because this is trying to express to someone who has no idea about God who God is. Everybody understand? So this is speaking to a heathen who has no idea about the God of Israel or our culture or what we worship or what we serve. But this is a decree, this is a prophecy to him that you are going to rule, you're going to be in power, and it is because God has said so. Everybody understand? So that's what Isaiah 45 is. It is speaking to a heathen about the power and the position of our God, prophesying that he is going to rule. Everybody understand? If you, so historically, Cyrus was the first, the ruler who spread the Persian and the Mede Empire. The Persians and the Medes conquered everything that the Babylonians had previously held in control. Everybody understands? So they conquered the whole known world at that time, or the majorly populated parts of the earth, which stretched from the Nile River in Egypt all the way to the land where East India is today, where India is today. Everybody understand? So that was the land of the Persians and the Medes. And this is just prophesying that Cyrus was going to rule. One of the things, the Persians in the Persian Empire was played a prominent role in our nation's history, because during the Persian and the Mede time ruling on the earth, we were allowed to go back into our land, to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, to rebuild, start to rebuild the temple. All those things took place after the captivity in Babylon under the rulership of the Persians. Everybody understand? So when it comes to our land, right, there's three major rebuilding. As far as the children of Israel are concerned, there were three major building phases in the land of Jerusalem. There was the initial building of Solomon's temple, which was done by Solomon, right? David built the city of Jerusalem, right? It's called David's city, but then Solomon came after David. There was the building of Solomon's temple. So that was the first construction of the temple, right? Then after the building of the temple, we went into captivity in Babylon. So when we came back from Babylon during the time of the Persians and the Medes, we were able to rebuild or refortify Solomon's temple. That was the second construction of the temple. Everybody understand? We was able to go back and build the walls of Jerusalem and make the city more sturdy, make the city bigger, rebuilt the temple, made it nice. Then we went into captivity under the Greeks. And in the captivity of the Greeks, of course, they came in, sacrificed swine's flesh, and did all the things that they did. And they didn't destroy the temple, but they defiled it. So after we got back in power during the Maccabees revolution, we rebuilt the second rededication of the temple, which when we went in there and took out the altar and we put in new, that's the whole Hanukkah celebration, is about the second rebuilding of the temple. And so there's a prophecy. I'm not sure. Okay, can't say it was a prophet. I can't say it's a prophecy in the Bible. I gotta get confirmation on that. But right now, in that land of Jerusalem today, there is I believe, I'm gonna say it's a Muslim. I don't know if it's a Muslim prophecy, but there's somewhere where the people in that land, it's been said that when they start reconstruction on Solomon's temple for the third time, that's like a sign that we at the end, that Christ is coming back, and the nation of Israel, the war in that part of the earth is going to be full tilt. You understand? That's been something it hasn't been taught. I don't recall it being taught in the UPK, being taught in here. So if it's not in the scriptures, not right now. I'm not drawing any memory of it being taught or me it being broken down in the scriptures. But I know that in the world, for Muslim people, for Christians, for the white man who calls himself a Jew. There's a prophecy out there that if they start construction on Solomon's temple for the third time, that is like we at the end. That is a big sign that we close to Armageddon. Everybody understand? So the two, that's important because the two times that Solomon's temple was built on before occurred after Babylon with the Persian and the Medes, which is what is described here in Isaiah 45. Isaiah 45, where it talks about Cyrus being salvation for the Lord's people, the Lord using him, you know what I'm saying? When we talk about the Lord using him to let go his captives. Everybody understands. That was the Lord prophesying that when this Cyrus came to power, he was going to be a force of good for the children of Israel. And he was in history because him coming into power meant that we got to go back into our land from Babylon and we got to rebuild the temple for the first time. The second time we rebuilt the temple was after the Greeks came in and destroyed it, and that was with the Maccabees revolution. And then after that, the Romans destroyed Jerusalem, ransacked it, destroyed the temple for the third time. And since that time, Solomon's temple has not been rebuilt. Since 70 AD, Solomon's temple has not been re-erected. You know what I'm saying? So even right now, in the Middle East, a lot of people think that when they see pictures of Jerusalem, there's that big golden dome. That big golden dome is a Muslim temple. That's a Muslim mosque. That's not Solomon's temple. Solomon's temple has not been rebuilt since 70 AD. So where Solomon's temple was, we've never seen it. We don't know what it looked. We have an idea of what it looked like from paintings and things like that. But Solomon's temple has not been existing since that time, which is why the white man who calls himself a Jew, they go over there. There's something called the Wailing Wall. If you know anything about white Jewish culture, they take a trip to Jerusalem to go bang their head and cry at some wall because it's the one wall that's left standing from Solomon's temple. It's like the wall that was facing the west. You know, the west face of Solomon's temple is the only wall that's standing. And they go there. The white man calls himself a Jew. They go there and they throw rocks and they bang their head at this wall. They pray at this wall like it's some holy sacred thing. But that reason why they pray at that wall is because that wall is all that's left of Solomon's temple. But there's a prophecy out there somewhere that if they start to rebuild that temple, it's the holy of holy wars is coming. I want to say it's a Muslim prophecy, but then again, I don't know if Muslims even have any prophecy. That's what's bothering me. Because being in the truth, ain't no prophecies in the Quran. You know what I'm saying? But it's something that all the religions recognize. The Christians recognize it. The Muslims recognize it. The white man that calls himself a Jew recognizes. We start construction on this Solomon's temple again. It's all out war. Like the Muslims for sure going to go blow themselves up in Jerusalem if they try to build that temple. You understand? Come on with it.
Would it be like, are you saying, on the scripts, yeah, touch the ark and because it shook and he killed? That's not what you talking about.
No. I'm saying that for the religions of the earth, if there is a attempt to rebuild Solomon's temple, everybody's going to go crazy. It's like the sign for Satan. Like if you are on the side of God, you got to go to war. So if you're Jewish, if you're a white man that calls himself a Jew, and they start to rebuild, the Jewish people say we're gonna rebuild Solomon's temple. It's like them saying we ready to die for God. We're gonna rebuild. We're gonna get our glory back. For the Muslim, if they start to rebuild that temple, you have to die for God because that temple cannot be rebuilt. We got to die for God right now. If you're a Christian, it's the war of all wars because they trying to rebuild that temple. We have got to die for the blood of Jesus in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It's like everybody got to die because if you're Christian and you serve God, if you're Muslim and you serve God, and you Jewish and you serve God, God is telling you to die because over this temple being built. So everybody got to die. You understand? So for a long time, like I said, like in that conspiracy circle. But if you pay attention to that Middle East region, you pay attention to Palestine. Like right now, recently they were the Jewish man was dropping bombs on the Palestinians. Palestinians shooting rockets into Israel. All of that is them fighting over that land. The Jewish man wants to get all the Palestinians out of that land so that they can just turn it into whatever gay haven that they wanted to be. They can just turn it into whatever they wanted to turn it into. Jerusalem will be Las Vegas if the white man had his way. But those Palestinians are in the land and they're in the way. They want to get all of them Arabs, all the Muslims out of there so they can just have it be some white paradise. You understand? Well, the Muslims who are over there is like, yo, they get us out of here, they're going to rebuild their temple. We can't let that happen. We got to fight for the love of Allah. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they will not let that land go. But the white man desperately wants to he wants to submit, he wants to cement himself as the people in that land. Those Palestinians are in the way. The reason why those Palestinians won't go away is because this is the land of Muhammad, peace be upon him, and and the holy land of God, and we won't release it to the hands of these evil Jews. You know what I'm saying? And of course, Christians support the Jewish white man. That's why Donald Trump being president, he was in staunch support of Israel and Israel, conquering those Muslims and kicking them out that land. Because for Christians, when we read in the Bible about the king, let me get it right now. It's in the book of Revelation. We read about bear with me. Okay. Okay. Revelation 21. Get Revelation chapter 21. Revelation 21. All right, it's Revelation chapter 21 and 1. It says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. These other nations believe that the New Jerusalem coming out of heaven is not some city, coming out of the sky, but it's a city that they're going to build because of the blessings of God. You understand? So the white man that calls himself a Jew, he desperately wants that New Jerusalem. He wants that heaven, right? But heathens can't be in heaven, which is why they can't have the New Jerusalem until they get rid of all the Palestinians. They can't have the New Jerusalem until they get all these funky Muslims out of this land, and then we can have our New Jerusalem. You understand? So they believe that New Jerusalem coming out of the sky is we've gotten rid of all of these heathens. So that's why they want to get all the Palestinians out of the land. They want to get rid of all the heathens so that they can feel like finally now is the time for New Jerusalem. Everybody understand? All right. So that's that. That's that. Let me see. Yeah, that's good. We good on that. All right. All right. Now, but let's keep reading in Revelation chapter 21. so we can get an understanding of what this is actually talking about. All right. And this again goes to one of those, it's another scripture that is important in terms of understanding just how much the Bible is only about the children of Israel. Everybody understand? Because we read further in Revelation 21, but all the Christians and all the people who believe that, they're going to die and go to heaven, or that they go to heaven when they die, or that Jesus is coming back and he's going to judge us and we all going to go into heaven. It's impossible for you to be someone who truly believes in God and believes in his word and think that the things that Christians are taught can be true. Everybody understand? We'll keep reading here. Revelation chapter 21, verse 3 says, "And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away." So what are we talking about in this time where where the house of God is with men, and God is going to wipe away all the tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain. What are we talking about? What is being described here? Not yet. Don't. Let's just look at it on the broad sense, right? Imagine a time where there's no more crying, no more sadness, no more sorrow, where the house of God is with men and he dwell with them. You know what I'm saying? And God himself shall be with us and be our God and wipe away all our tears. Okay, yes, but what would we call that? I'm trying to get you all to think in terms of society, right? What would a world? This is describing a world where there's no tears, where there's no sadness, there's no crying, where there's peace. What would people in the world call it?
I understand the righteousness
That's a biblical reference. Yes, that's what the scripture describes it. Y'all give me right now. Sister Waraka said, "We are ruling." She said, "The kingdom of heaven, heaven on earth." Those are all biblical terms. That's what we would say. That's what we know it's describing that. But what would people in the world call it? Even that's biblical. I'm talking about people who don't believe in the Bible, or people who don't necessarily use biblical terms like salvation or the kingdom of heaven. What would a place? What would life with no tears and no sadness and no crying and no pain? What would that be like? What would somebody say that is?
No more police brutality.
No police brutality, none of that. For time's sake, they would say that is a perfect world, right? Perfect world. That world is not. That's not the world we live in now. The world we live in is not a perfect world. The world we live in is full of pain and full of tears and full of sadness and full of oppression. You understand? The Bible is describing a time when there's going to be no more. That's describing a new world, right? The term I was looking for was a new world. It's a new world. It's describing a new period in human evolution, if you want to call that, or human history. A time in human history that has never been seen before. We could go through all of known history, and there's never been a time where there wasn't no sadness, wasn't no tears, wasn't no oppression. Life on this earth from the very beginning has been full of pain, full of tears, full of sadness, full of fighting, full of, warfare, full of evil. The Bible is describing a time where no more is going to be no more. Everybody the same. Revelation 21:5. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. What does it mean when he that sat on the throne said, Behold, I will make all things new? That means that whatever was in the past, it's in the past. Like, we got to understand that nothing from this time that we're living in is going to make it into the future. All of this that we're experiencing is going to be wiped away. And when I say all that we're experiencing, I mean just the very ways of this society. All of this is going to be done away with. Just think of every piece of your life growing up and everything that you've known in terms of, that's just how the world works. All of that is going to be done. All of that is going to be washed. All of it's going to be washed. You understand? I think in terms of how big of a difference it was from when I was growing up. Okay, I'm an 80s baby, right? And when I was growing up, there's just a certain way that things work. Like I always say that when I was coming up, it was, and I'm thankful that I grew up in a time when I did. I feel like the time when I grew up was at the damn near the tail end of, having to overcome adversity and just getting over things in life. When I came up, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt, right? Is that even? I don't know if that's something that today's children can relate to, because everything is, it's bullying and it's body shaming and it's, it's like a thing now where if somebody don't want to date you, it's like they discriminate. Yeah. It's like they're not accepting of my love. Like, you ugly, B. Nobody wants you. Like, the hell are you talking about? Like, I think I remember being young, growing up, and I was always been a fat guy or heavy set kid. And I remember being jealous of the skinny kids, skinny boys. They getting the pretty girls. And I remember trying to be a fake skinny nigga, like sucking my stomach in, and it was like, and I didn't have confidence because I wasn't a skinny dude. Like I was a failure as a skinny guy. But when I embraced being the fat boy and just embraced being who I was, I found that there was girls that like fat niggas. So all the time I wasted trying to be a fake skinny dude, if I would have just embraced being the big boy, I could have maybe found the women that were there for me. But I didn't, it took me failing at being skinny to realize that life is better if I'm just fat. But how would you realize that in today's society? Yeah. If all you do is just be sad that the girls don't want me because I'm that skinny, you miss that, hey, there's girls that like fat guys. But this world doesn't provide you the opportunity to have to go through any struggle for you to find out what's on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And now, imagine a world where that isn't even a thing that anybody thinks about. Whether you're fat, you're skinny, you're tall, you're short, you ain't even got to worry about it because you a prince, you a king, you a daughter of Zion, you a son, and there are none of those issues or none of those problems. Where it's, imagine a society and a culture where we're so far removed from living in our flesh that, what you look like and how tall you are, whether you're fat or you're skinny, doesn't even matter. That's not even a thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the world that the Bible is describing. I think about growing up, and some cats had their mother and their father. Some cats didn't, and different issues with how you was parented and raised and how your family dynamic was, and whether you had drug addicts in your family or imagine a world where none of that is even a thing. Because everybody's family is whole. Everybody's parents are together. Everybody's, has what they need. And we all are in righteousness and able to focus on the things that matter. Imagine a world where, we're not limited by, electricity or limited by, having air conditioning. I guess I think of the natural system, the systems that we had in place before this modern world, where we were able to, communicate with one another and just do different things. Who knows what power we could unlock if we weren't so distracted or detached from our natural self with all of this stuff that our oppressor has put in place. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine a world that is nothing at all like this. That's the world that's going to be the kingdom to come. Everybody understand? Verse 6, and he said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. Imagine a place where you're given of the water you're given of the fountain of the water of life freely. In this society, nothing is given free. We even have there's even a saying that nothing in this life, nothing in this world is free. Well, imagine a world where everything is free. Imagine a world where you wouldn't have to pay for electricity, wouldn't have to pay for water, wouldn't have to pay, for a roof over your head, or clothes on your back. We'll be all able to freely exchange and freely give and trade and share with one another the things that God put here for us to have. Food isn't any one man's, gift to the world. Air isn't some man's gift to the world. Water isn't something that some man created and said, here's water. God gave us all of that. We live in a time where man dictates the availability of what God created to other people. Imagine a world where you ain't got to worry about what I'm gonna eat today or where I'm gonna get something to drink because it's already made available. Imagine what we could put our minds to if those things were taken care of. That's the kingdom. Everybody saying. Verse 7, he that overcometh shall inherit all things. Not inherit some things. That maybe there's some things you will have all things. Imagine if all the things that you desired were already there for you. Then what would you be? Then what would your desire be? If all of the things that you're ambitious about you already had, well then now what you gonna set your sights on? That's the kingdom. You understand? And I will be his God, and he shall be my son. Verse 8, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Anybody that does not endure, that is not incorruptible, that is not immoral, to walk into that place that we're describing, they're going to die in the lake of fire and brimstone. Everybody understand? And that is the second death. The second death is talking about what? What is the first death? The first death is putting away your old self, putting to death the old man. Everybody understand? That's the first death. The first death is a spiritual death. It's you being born again. Can't be born again unless the old you dies. Everybody understand? The second death is the physical death. It's the permanent death. That second death is the judgment that comes when Christ returns. Everybody understands? And there's a lot of people who are going to die in that second death because they did not die in the first death. Everybody understands? Those of us who are in the truth, we have been given an opportunity to die that first death. We have been given an opportunity to put away that old man. We've been given the same opportunity that Christ was given. Everybody understand? Christ has already experienced the first death. That's why he came back. I mean, that's why he's up there with the Father now. Everybody understand? For those of us who push forward through that first death, then we'll be able to enter into, we'll be able to survive the second death like our King did. Everybody understand? Verse 9. And there came unto me one of the seven angels which had the seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. Now, of course, the Lamb is talking about Christ, the King that's on the throne. This angel says, Come with me, I'm going to show you the bride's wife. I mean, I'm going to show you who's being given to this King, being given to the Lamb, being given to Christ. Everybody saying? And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. So he showed him the city of Jerusalem coming out of heaven from God. Now, in the vision, John is seeing a city come down from heaven. How should we that translate? But how does that vision correlate to what's happening in the world today? John in the vision is seeing he's seeing the new Jerusalem coming out of heaven, right? But we know that there's not going to be a city that floats out of heaven, right? New Jerusalem is something that's going to be built and established here on earth. So how do we correlate John's vision to what's happening on the earth? So in the spirit, John is the angel showing him this city that's coming out of heaven from God. How is New Jerusalem actually going to be built? How are we going to receive New Jerusalem coming out of heaven from God? Shit.
We don't have to
Yes. Okay. How? Okay. You're right. Yes, we're gonna have to build it. But how are we going to build it? I'm trying to get y'all to understand what New Jerusalem is. That's why I'm asking these questions. All right. New Jerusalem isn't a physical place. John, seeing a city coming out of the sky, he's actually seeing brothers and sisters wake up into the truth. You understand what I'm saying? That's New Jerusalem being built. New Jerusalem is not a place that we're going to go to. New Jerusalem is what we're going to bring out of us. And New Jerusalem is Christ saying the kingdom of heaven is within you. That's New Jerusalem. Everybody saying New Jerusalem is coming out of heaven as the Lord is pouring out his spirit on us and we're waking up. That's New Jerusalem. New Jerusalem is the ISUPK. New Jerusalem is the brotherhood, the sisterhood that we're learning to craft here. Brother, right now we're in the process of learning how to be a community. We're in the process of learning how to be a family. As we're building this family, building this community, there's issues and problems that arise. And what do? We solve them, we deal with them, we go to council, we get issues and problems settled and dealt with. Brothers and sisters, there's marriages happening and there's issues that arise and problems. What are we doing? We fixing those issues, fixing those problems. We're learning how to live together as a family. We're learning brothers are learning how to have two wives and deal with all of the issues that arise from that. Sisters are learning how to deal with their husband having other women, or they are being with a man and he wants to court another woman, and what am I going to do? We're learning all those things now. The Lord's Spirit is being poured out on us, and that's the building. All of the pain and the heartache and the frustration and the downs and the trying to navigate being righteous in this wicked, evil society we're living in, that's New Jerusalem being built. Come on with it. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, they're the parents of both children, a man, a baby, one baby girl. Mm-hmm. If they are, if their parents want them to be married, mm-hmm. Is that the same as when we? Is that New Jerusalem also?
Yes. Yes. Meaning they are brothers and sisters. Okay. The hope is I have a daughter, I ain't got to worry about my daughter ending up with the wrong boy because I'm going to marry my daughter off to somebody. As my daughter, I'm going to raise my daughter to be a princess. I'm going to prepare my daughter to be a wife, to be a mother, right? And if she becomes a woman, it'll be understood that when the time is right for you to be with a man, daddy is going to give you to the right man. Now, of course, it's not, my daughter ain't a robot. It ain't go married. It's, what I'm saying? As she grows, there's going to be boys that she knows from her youth and she grows up with and she see at different events and functions. And it may be a boy she liked from when she's a young girl, but it's going to be guided. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, you see my daughter, I see how she play with your son. Tell your boy be careful around my daughter, but it, 6, 7 years, maybe we can arrange something. If you think your son might want to marry, hey, maybe here's what the dowry gonna be. Maybe make an arrangement. We start dealing with it now. Hell, me and a brother could already work it out. That I'm preparing my daughter for his son, and they 7, 8 years old. This is something that's gonna happen when they 18, but we preparing it behind the scenes now. We working it out. We take family vacations together and do different things to where this boy and this girl are always around each other. They think that they fell in love and just love each other when the whole time we work that whole thing out. Y'all goofy. Y'all what y'all you thought you chose him? Yeah, all right, okay, you right, baby. You chose the right one. The whole time, me and her daddy, yeah, B. We did the whole thing. You orchestrated that whole thing. Y'all thought y'all just fell in love. Y'all got some old Cinderella. This ain't no Cinderella. You understand? God did this. And that's the opportunity that we have. That's what New Jerusalem is going to be. Of that place. We build it, but it comes from the Spirit of the Lord. The Lord pouring His Spirit out on us. We're in a time where we are capable of doing things that haven't been done on the earth for generations. The things that we are endeavoring to do now, no generation before us did it. Where did they do it at? When did they do it? How did they do it? You understand what I'm saying? Like, we are the ones who have been blessed with the opportunity to return to this culture. Sure, we did the Muslim thing. We did it real strong too. The Muslims and them Nation of Islam, they did a strong thing in the 60s with their little Nation of Islam, but it wasn't this. You understand? Them Southern Baptists, they did a hell of a Christian thing, but it wasn't this. You understand? Them Marcus Garvey had 3 million people that was following him. Them Garveyites had a hell of a movement, but it wasn't this. We are the generation that the Lord has given the opportunity to do this. And it's an amazing thing. Everybody's saying. All right. Revelation 21:11. Having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone, most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. Now, as we describe in this city, I want you to remember that we're talking about this nation of people that the Lord is raising in the earth. Everybody understand? So when it talks about her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone clear as crystal, what is it talking about? What is the light of this city? What is the light of the city in terms of the people? This. Okay, when somebody says there's something different about you, what do they actually say? I'm glad you said that. Sister said, no, I said when somebody says that your spirit is different, what are they actually saying? The sister said they're saying you crazy as hell, right? But I want us to stop thinking that way. Because when somebody tells you you're crazy as hell, what they're really saying is you're special. You're unique. When somebody says there's something different about you, what they're really saying is you stand out. When somebody says something about your spirit, what they're really saying is you're a breath of fresh air. I haven't encountered many people like you. You understand? Our light is what makes us stand out. It's what makes us shine. And whether we know it or not, we shine to other people. You understand? Imagine we have to understand that we're like trying to use the obvious metaphor. The obvious metaphor is we're like light in the darkness, right? But it's more special than that. Like we are stars shining bright in the night sky. You know what I'm saying? Like we are the thing that think of this world that we live in, how cruel and cold and cutthroat it is. And we're the only thing that is caring and nurturing and loving. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at everything about this society. I just look at women, for example. There's two sisters here in the class, right? You look at what the world is pushing on women right now. Women's rights and your body and it's your sexuality, it's your freedom. Explore the world and be free and don't let no man hold you back, right? But then think of all the women who, because of that mindset, have no protection. Because of that mindset, have no one who cares enough about them to say, no, baby, don't do that. Don't have anyone in their life who sees them going down a path of destruction, but won't say anything because that's infringing on their freedom and infringing on their right. This is the one place on the earth where women have protection. Women don't have to be tough and be strong and be mighty and be conquerors. Just be a lady. And that makes life easier on a woman. It takes away all of her burdens. This world puts such burdens on women's shoulders that, a woman shouldn't have to stress so much. The world is full of, it makes a woman a man because she got the weight of the world on her shoulders. She got to define herself I don't know. It's just hard. The world makes women hard. When a woman's designed to just be a lady, be a princess, be a wife, be a mother. This world wants you to be this world takes away don't be a mother. Be uh, be a pro-choice. Don't be a mother. You choose. Don't you have to be a mother? Who told you got to be a mother? You can choose. Now you're a murderer. Choose murder. Now you're a murderer. Now, and there's pain that comes with that. Oh, but you ain't no fragile, delicate flower. You're a queen. You're a conqueror. You're royalty. Pick yourself up. Don't let any now you're defiant. Now you're in defiance of your emotions. You're fighting against your fragility. I ain't soft. I ain't no woman. I ain't no dainty, pretty flower. Well, goddamn, bitch, where are you? I can do anything I put in my mouth. Bitch, you can do anything. Can you bake biscuits? All right, that's subjugated to baking biscuits. That's not the limit of my capacity. What do you want to do? As if I've never met a woman who didn't like, getting her feet done and her nails did and feeling pretty. Where's all of this conquering? The world is putting that on them. The world is burdening women with strength. Why you gotta be strong? I thought that's what I was for. Look, that was my job. Let me be strong. Let me be mighty man, and you just be my woman. I don't need you to. I can't make biscuits from. I can't make biscuits from scratch. I need you. I can go build some shit. I can build a house. I can go conquer some shit. I just need you to. Can I get a meal? Can I have somewhere soft to lay my head tonight? That's what a woman should be for. Let me be strong and rugged and tough to fight the world and conquer all of the, solve all the problems in society. I just need you to just take care of me. Like, now take that. I'm just only talking about women right now, but apply that to all of the problems in society and all the problems in the world. Nobody's being protected. Nobody's being cared for because everybody is being empowered to be taken advantage of. That's what this world is. It's a cruel, cold, dark place. And when they see us, they see something different. They see something that stands out. You understand? That's the light that the Bible is describing. It's a piercing, bright light. The light almost you can't even look at because it's glowing so much. But that's us. People see us. It's not even spiritual. It's carnal too. In that these niggas, who are these niggas? What they doing? They just like that. I look like that. Man, you see the sisters that they be with? Yeah, they be having their hands covered. Sisters was bringing food and this and that. It's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? But we've been trained and we've been taught that you are taught when really it's you're special. From now on, anybody say anything they say to you about being an Israelite or being in the truth, realize that they're saying, you're amazing. You about what you say you about. I'm started wearing some of my little Hebrew stuff to the slavery, right? Little shields on my shirt. And people don't even look at it. I don't think they know now, like this cat, he on some different shit. You know what I'm saying? I got cats at the job. Some cats I used to work with, they call me Black Power now. Every time I get around talking, like, man, it's Black Power, you know what I'm saying? But I don't look at it like, I wear it as a badge of honor. I wear it like, yeah, you're fucking right, Black Power. Somebody got to do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't wear it like, because the cat said to me the other day, like, man, you really be repping. You know what I'm saying? And I was in my mind, I felt like, but then I realized, like, fucking right, I be repping. Ain't that what you're supposed to do? Nigga? Yeah, I rep everywhere I go. Represent my shit. Because that's what life should be about. I'm proud of what I am and who I am and how I live my life. Why should I hide that? Why should I be ashamed of that? I want everybody to ask me about my shield and why I represent this and what that's about, because nigga, that's the best thing in life. And when you do something that is and when you live a life that is honorable, and when you do something, you dedicate your life to something that is worthy of, spreading to the world, why would I hide it? Why would I deny it? And that's understanding that as an Israelite is understanding why the Indian wears his turban. It's understanding why the white guy puts the fucking Confederate flag on his truck. You could just avoid all the problems in life and just blend in with everybody. But why fucking blend in when I'm proud of what I am? And that's something that Black people haven't had for many generations. I know in our generation, I didn't have it until I found the truth. There was no proud to be Black thing. What is the proud to be Black thing when I smoke weed? I listen to gangster music about killing people. No, that ain't something to be proud of. This is something to be proud of. This is something to stand out. Everybody's saying. Reading on Revelation 21:12. And had a great wall, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. So this city is fortified with walls. And on these walls are the names of the 12 tribes. Everybody's saying, guess what? This city that's being built, you can only enter in if you were of those 12 tribes. You understand? The protection, the security of this city is those 12 tribes. This family, this community, this body that we building, you can't be in here unless you're in them 12 tribes. You understand? And that's the amazing thing about what it is that the Lord is allowing us to accomplish and to establish right now, is that this is a place that is completely discriminatory. I'm sorry, Mr. White Man, you cannot get in here. Arab, no, this is a place that you cannot enter. And imagine having a place like that, but we ain't even got no place. Like we have a community that ain't even a community that people can't get into. I watched the video back. It was a video that was years ago, man. Back it was like 2017 when Tazaryak was on. Captain Tazaryak did an interview with Sarnetta. Some little African boy in the hood up there in New York was talking with Tazaryak. And I watched this thing, man, and I know it. Watching Tazaryak tell this cat, "Oh no, yeah, you African, man. You ain't one of our people. Yeah, y'all ancestors sold us into slavery." And Sarnetta asking him, "So you mean to tell me I'm bringing this young brother to the cookout? Can I bring the young brother and he eat with us?" I was like, "No, he can't eat with us." Right. And Sarnetta was like, "Man, why not? You mean he can't eat with us, man? That's wrong." And it was such an evil thing for Sarnetta to try and paint Tazaryak like he was wrong. But it was so strong that Tazaryak stood stiffly on, "Man, he can't eat with us, man. This is for our people only." It was like I felt watching it was like, man, that was strong what Tazaryak did. Yeah. Because look at that cat, innocent little 12-year-old boy, and Tazaryak looked at him and said, "Yeah, no, hell no." I might have been like, I might have got checked. I don't know, man. But Tazaryak was like, "No, he ain't eating shit. He is starved to death. We watch him starve to death." Tazaryak was so gangster about it. Like, so that was like, "You mean he can't get nothing?" He was like, "Man, he can't eat none of our food." Wow. I was like, "Anything you pick in, only for me and my brothers, no heathens allowed. I never feed no heathens, nothing in none of our bed." And he stood strong on it, and it was hardcore. It was damn. I felt it like, ooh. I was like, "Dang, y'all went hard on the little African boy." But that's this place. Yeah. That's the spirit of the Lord. You understand? That's the spirit. That's the New Jerusalem being built. A place where, man, your registry ain't. We can't verify your registry. You can't be in here. I love that this is a place where if we can't verify if you an Israelite, nigga, you got to watch from the outside. And if you watch from the outside, maybe you an Israelite. But if you just say, "Oh, fuck it," well, yeah, he wasn't one of us to begin with. It's like that movie. Everybody ever seen Fight Club? A movie called Fight Club, right? And when they first started the Fight Club, there was a house that they had. And in order to get in the house, you had to come and stand out. You had to come out, stand outside the house with your clothes or whatever you was bringing in the house. And the cat would come outside the door and he'd look at you. Like, "You bitch ass nigga, you'll never get in here. Fuck out of here." And he'd just berate you, right? And he'd go back in the house. And if you was soft a week, you would leave. But if you was a soldier, you would just stay there. Every day he'd come out there and talk shit to you. After about 3 weeks of standing out there, come on in the house. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is. This is a place where you come, you might be rejected 5 times, 10 times. "No, brother, you can't get in here. Listen, brother, you got that drug addiction, or you got this or that, or well, we don't know who your family is. We don't know, you might not be an Israelite." And if you let that run you off of here, no sweat, you were never meant to be in here in the first place. But if you adore and you hang around, man, I'm gonna prove to y'all I'm one of y'all. After a while, shit, man, the Lord, he won't be denied. You got to give that brother a shot. Everybody understand? That's this place. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading. Revelations 21:14. "And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof." I'm gonna go past the measurements, all right? This is Revelation 21:18. "And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones." I'm gonna drop down past the stones. Revelation 21:21. "And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor unto it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. and they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. You understand? That's the place that we build. That's the king. Everybody understand? And that right now we are in the time where that is what is being poured out on us from heaven. You understand? The Lord is bringing that place into reality for those of us who are seeking him and who are serving him and who are doing everything that we are being taught is necessary in order for us to inherit that kingdom. Everybody understand? So with that, we just got to stay focused. We got to remain diligent. Keep putting first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and everything will be added. And one day we're going to look up and we're going to realize that that place that we've been reading about all this time is what we've been able to build under the spirit of the Most High Christ. And with that, clap it up. Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When the new brothers and sisters come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're here to learn and shed themselves of the world. Tithes, which is a commandment, 10% of any penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the school. Let me see. Upcoming holy convocations, June 20th. About 10 days from now, we got the Feast of First Fruits. We will be holding a feast here in Memphis, Lord allow. So I'll be notifying brothers and sisters of the dates coming up. And with that, brother want to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, pants, headband, and scarf. With that, I imagine that what I want to do real quick, I got the prayers here. We just going to, for today's class, we're going to say the Lord's Prayer. But going forward, what I want to do, and that's something I might decide to do here in Memphis, I may set up a prayer schedule where maybe in the morning, I'll have like a conference call number where we just say the prayers in the morning. And if you're able to, you can call in and hear the prayers being said. But I want to, every day, I want us to say these prayers together. Whether we be here in class or we're going to do it, like I said, over the conference call or something. But I want us to be, or we just decide that we're going to do it in the privacy of our homes at a certain time. But I want us to be saying these prayers. Everybody saying, I think it's, I know for a fact that it's a necessary part of staying in the spirit. If you can begin your day and end your day by saying these prayers, it'll go a long way towards helping you stay focused and in the spirit that the Most High wants us to be in, all right? So with that, we're going to, our modulus means to stand. We're going to turn and face the east, which is this way, and we're going to send up the Lord's Prayer, all right? All right. In Hebrew, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Quadash, Ayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'ah, Ratazayaka, Ayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathan Lanau, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalak Lanau, Kabawaf Lanau, Kasalak now, Kabawaf Yanau, Wala'ah, Kabayar now, Manasaya 1, Abal, Hawashai now, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahapapara, one more time, Wahapapara, Wahapapara, one more time, Wahapapara, La'ai Walumium, La'ai Walumium, La'ai Walumium, Amen. All right, that was the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. We're going to read it in English, all right? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors,
as we forgive our debtors,
and lead us not into temptation,
and lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
With that, Yajamata, hands down, Tsar, turn. Men of Israel, we give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Majim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Bashem, Yahushua Barak Thumb. The Most High bless you in the name of Yahushua. Yajamata, hands down, Tsar, turn to face the sisters. Give the sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Majim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Allah Thumb, Bashem, Yahushua. The Most High watch over you in the name of Yahushua. Yajamata, hands down, class dismissed. All right, so going forward for all the brothers and sisters here in Memphis, I was able to accumulate a list of all the prayers, and I got the alphabet, Hebrew alphabet sheet. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put together a package for everybody to take home with them. But I want us to start, like I said, we're gonna start reading, saying these prayers, and I'm gonna get working on the schedule for the Hebrew class, and we're gonna get it rolling in full effect. All right. All right, with that, the water, shalom, brothers and sisters tuning in. See you tomorrow.